I don't know. Should we watch this, bro? Should we watch this? Yo, shoutouts to Zoned. Why I hate Fortnite? Lock in.
Fortnite is a game that needs no introduction. If you were
Very
alive
true.
in the year 2018, then you remember the iron grip this game had on the entire world.
Yo, what happened to them, man? How did they fall off so hard? I remember, dude, back in 2018, Fortnite was like such a big part of the culture, bro. I would be in middle school, bro. Kids would be doing like the Orange Justice emotes before class started, bro. No joke. Let me know if you guys experienced that as well, bro.
It is very hard to overstate just how influential this game was and still is to this day.
True, very
This
true.
game is what made Twitch mainstream. When Ninja collab
Yes. Oh my gosh. Wait, that I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Bro, you would be in school, man, in the halls, bro. People would be talking about, yo, did you hear Ninja played with Drake? Ninja's playing with Drake right now. Ninja's playing with Drake, bro. How many viewers? 500K, bro. Almost 600. Did he hit 600 concurrent viewers? I actually have no clue. Wow, bro, that OG Twitch layouts, man. Who do we have? Ninja, Tyler One, bro. Tyler One, Josh OG, not familiar with him. Wildcats, bro. Yo, holy throwback, man. Wow, wow, wow,
collaborated with
wow.
Drake, yes, that Drake, it absolutely
Yo, sassy Drake.
crushed Twitch records at the time. And it's very possible that streamers like Queso, Speed, and Kai Cenat wouldn't be here today without it. This game
Yes, that's insane to think about, bro. But my theory is the path that we were moving in content, from like YouTube to live streaming, maybe it was always meant to happen. Something else would have taken its place rather than Fortnite, perhaps. And then everyone would still have seen the same popularity down the line. But this guy is right. There is a non-zero chance that, if Fortnite didn't happen, like we wouldn't be here right now. For example, Keizo wouldn't be where he is. Onipixel wouldn't be where he is. Jinxie wouldn't be where he is.
is responsible for battle passes being shoved into as many games as humanly possible. And this game is the reason why every
They started the trend of battle pass, man. Fortnite started the trend of battle passing everything, dude. Wow, that is true. Cause I don't remember any game that had like a significant battle pass before Fortnite came into the mix.
online game has to have random collabs. Nicki
Wow.
Minaj would not be in Call of Duty if Thanos never dropped in Fortnite. Even a kid with
Wait. Nicki Minaj is in Call of Duty? Bro, I did not know that.
no internet access and the boonies of rural Texas couldn't escape this game. And that kid was me. And when my family finally got internet access, the very first thing me and my brother did was download Fortnite. And I absolutely
Wow.
loved it. The gameplay, the events, the style, the goofiness. I was hooked. But over the years, this game has evolved into a
Man, Fortnite, I think for me, the biggest thing that got me hooked, bro, because back then, I was maybe in like 7th grade when Fortnite came out. Maybe in 8th grade. No, 7th grade. I was in 7th grade when Fortnite came out, bro. And I remember back then, I only had a Nintendo Switch, bro. I only played Mario games, man. I'm not gonna lie. But the style of Fortnite, bro, dude, it is so unique, man. Or it was so unique, now not so much. But back then, bro, wow, dude, the art style was great, man. What is that sound? Hold on, I'm tripping. The art style was great, bro. Dude, everything was so nice, bro. The skins, the UI. Now I feel like they took some decisions that like weren't really the best for the style of the game. Like it lost a lot of its charm. I'm sure this guy's gonna talk about it. But yes, bro.
husk of its former self. Through a combination of greedy, short-sighted decisions, very biased catering, and just losing the game's identity over time, Fortnite has sacrificed everything that made it special in the first place. So sit down, grab some snacks, and let me tell you how Fortnite sold its soul. Subscribe, please!
Aw, fuck you.
The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Fortnite's original art style is simply iconic.
Wow, look at that, man. OG Tilted Tower C-Day. Yo, I forgot about C-Day, bro. Man, what happened to him? Last I heard of him, he quit. He stopped uploading, and then he just never came back. Maybe. I don't know if he came back, bro. Correct me if I'm wrong. I used to always watch C-Day, bro. Yo, he was insane, man. Look at this art style, bro. Can we just take a moment to appreciate this, bro? We have the OG weapon, man. The OG health bar, bro. Like, this is such a small little thing, man. But this is what made Fortnite like the game that it was. I'm not even gonna lie. Wow, dude, the OG layout, man. What?
It's just so fun and cartoony in the best possible way. Everything from the environment to the lighting to the weapons worked to create
Yes.
this world that had so much personality and character in every inch. And the combo of the asymmetrical design of the world.
What? Whoa, dude, I forgot about this. No, I'm so glad he brought this up, man. Do you guys remember, bro? Every single like asset would be like a little bit clunky like this. It would have its own charm. Now I feel like everything is like more realistic in Fortnite, no? But this is like this door doesn't make sense, bro, like functionally, but it has so much charm to it, man. And I think this is like originally like the vibe that Save the World was going for. I just wish they had stuck to it, man.
And how cartoony everything in it was set it apart from how bland games like PUBG and H1Z1 were.
True.
But over time, it's been replaced with this.
Yes, dude. Now, is this chapter 7, man? I think this might be chapter 7. Wow, bro. It's so different, man. Like I said, like the health bar, bro, it's such, I don't know, it's such a little thing, but for me, it's like such a big change, and it's a bad change, in my opinion. Um, wow, dude. I didn't even notice. The compass is different now as well, bro. The map is way different. When you see them side to side, bro, I never really noticed how much they had changed. But now, like, look at this layout, bro. Wow, it's so different. The fact that they removed the rarities as well, man. The fact they removed the rarities as well, I don't know. That's a little bit maybe nitpicky for me. Wow,
It's just so
dude.
bland. It feels like all the charm and personality
Yes.
was sucked out of this game by a Dementor. Look at this. They straight up ungoofyified my doors. And I have a hunch that what motivated this decision was just plain greed. You see, the art style change started with the release of Chapter 2. And with Chapter 2 also came a lot more real people being added to the game.
Ah, that's true. They had to adjust the art style. That makes so much sense, man. I never thought about it like that. But now they do so many collabs with real people. I think I saw they added a Love skin not too long ago. They added a Sabrina Carpenter skin, right? Bro, I mean, I think it would be cool if you had like all these real people in the goofy looking world, in the goofy art style. It would have its own charm to it, man. But I guess they had to change it for the brand, bro. That's so
In
unfortunate.
Chapter 1, this still happened, but they kind of had to translate the people they added into Fortnite's art style, or it
Yes.
might have looked a little, weird. But nowadays, they can pretty much put anything in the game and it won't look weird. And that right there is why it's like this. They wanted to make this game look as neutral as possible so they can sell as many collabs as possible. But it came at the expense of the visual identity of the game, which is a big reason why it even stood out in the first place. But the worst part is they didn't need to make the game look like this to make it happen. Going back to Chapter 2, I actually really love that art style. Sure, it's not as stylish as Chapter 1, but I think it put just
I think
enough
Chapter 2 maybe gets a little bit too much flack. I like the art style a lot too, man. I think where it really went downhill, for me at least, Chapter 6. Chapter 6, I just kind of lost, I don't know how you say it, like the admiration I had for the game. That's a little bit corny, I don't know. But Chapter 2, I mean, it was really unique, man. You had a really nice map. You had a really good POI. You had the introduction of what? Midas Meowscles. Chapter 3, we had, what do you call it? Chapter 3, bro, we had, what was in Chapter 3? Oh, we had, the vibing season, right? Dude, I know that season gets a lot of flack. I don't know why. I think it was one of the best seasons in the game. And then Chapter 4, what do we have Chapter 4? I actually can't remember too much. No clue. Chapter 5, we had Wrecked, dude. I think still the art style was pretty unique. We had the Underground season, bro. I love the Underground season, man. And we had the Greek mythology season. Wow, dude. Holy throwback, man. But yeah, Chapter 6, the game just kind of like lost its charm. I don't even know what we had. I think we had like a Japanese themed season, right, for season 1, and then it went on to the Halo season, I wasn't too big of a fan. I don't know what they're doing with Chapter 7 now, bro. I haven't really kept up with the game. But yes, dude, I don't know. But I agree with this guy. I don't know about Chapter 2. Chapter 6, for me, for sure.
Something back into the art style to make up for it. And it made the game just realistic enough to have real people in the game not look weird while still having that Fortnite soul in there. But for some reason they just kept going, and now the game just looks so soulless. Like, it's not a bad looking game by any means, but it's just so bland, especially when you compare it to how it used to look. It just makes me sad that a game that used to have such a strong identity is now just taking place in California.
Wow. That's okay. That's actually kind of crazy.
It feels good to be a winner.
Feels good to be a gangster.
Yo, I don't know, man. The thing is, I agree, it's not a bad looking game, but maybe it's just nostalgia talking for me. I feel like the POIs back then were so memorable, and you would just like explore them with your friends, bro. You would just explore them, bro, and the POIs, it was like Tilted Towers, Wailing Woods, even the Nothing Burger ones, right? Like Lonely Lodge, bro. It was so memorable. Chapter 2 as well. Now, dude, I could not name a single POI from like the last 2 chapters off the top of my head. No clue, no clue. It all looks the same, bro, just in different parts of the map.
Right.
Fortnite has some of the most instantly recognizable gun design in gaming, period. With the OG pump shotgun design probably being up there as one of the most iconic video game weapons of all time at this point. But the most important part about the OG guns is that they're all very distinct from one another. Because in a game as hectic as Fortnite, you have to be able to tell guns apart at a glance. If you go into a fight with a pump thinking it's attack, you're gonna get worked, just because they require different mindsets to be effective. And Fortnite used to be great at this, but nowadays they're really
All of them look the same. No. All the new weapons look the same, bro. And they have the same functionality.
really bad at it. There are 2 main reasons it's like this. A, just bad gun design, and B, ever since chapter 3, they've been resetting the loot pool every chapter for years now.
I don't like that.
And at a glance, this sounds like a good thing, but the problem is these aren't new weapons.
Like, yes, they reset them, quote unquote, but it's just reskins, bro. It's just reskins, like, of the same gun. Maybe they changed like one stat, but it doesn't keep it fresh, right? Like, usually you will have like an automatic gun, you will have a pump gun for the shotguns, bro, and it's always like the same. It doesn't really matter, bro, like what they change. You always pick up the same one, right? Like if you're a pump shotgun player, you're gonna pick up like the combat shotgun, you're gonna pick up the revolver shotgun. If you're an auto shotgun player, you're gonna pick up like the 12 bullet one. You know what I mean? Like the drum shotgun. It's like same difference, bro. Different skin. Same difference, different skin.
They have new names and slightly new skins, but they're always just the same guns repackaged over and over, with almost nothing setting them apart from each other. There was one season in chapter 6 where I legitimately got confused on what shotgun I had several times, and it did get me killed.
Wait, what guns are those?
More than one.
Hold on. Can I even recognize them?
Confused on what shotgun I had several.
What is this? Okay, this is maybe the heavy shotgun. On the right, it looks like a tac. It looks like a tac because it has like that graffiti on the bottom. But wow. I guess you could tell them apart, bro. A little bit from the grip, but bro, that's rough. That's actually rough.
Times, and it did get me killed more than once. But aside from all that, the biggest problem is that they're just forgettable. Aside from a few exceptions, Fortnite hasn't made any truly iconic guns in years. Sure, they're guns and they get the job done fine, but stacked up against the iconic weapons of chapter 1 and even some in chapter 2, it's just no contest.
Except the Oasis. It's the only place that feels like I mean anything.
Yo,
Do you remember LTMs? Back in chapter 1.
Wow, dude. Wow, LTMs, man. What is this, 50v50?
Before Steal the Brain Rot and before Rocket Racing, there was LTMs, and they were a staple of this game. 50v50, solid gold, sniper shootout.
Solid gold, man. Holy throwback, bro. Yo, I remember playing that game mode so much, man.
And they were a staple of this game. 50v50, solid.
Wow, bro. And of course it's C-Day playing it, man.
Gold, sniper shootout.
I never liked snipers, bro. I never liked snipers. Yo, call me skill issue, bro. Skill issue. But I was never good at hunting rifles, bro. But then again, I was playing on Nintendo Switch. back then, and I was like 13 years old, so I don't know.
The Getaway are all classic game modes, and it would legitimately feel like an event when they first came out, but it's been
Yes,
years
man.
since Chapter 1, and I'm sure Epic Games has slapped out at least a few good LTMs since then.
Oh my god, man.
Yeah, no, they basically stopped doing LTMs altogether years ago. The closest we get nowadays are the metaverse modes, and while they definitely
I
take a lot
guess.
more effort than the old LTMs did, the only reason they put in that effort is because most of them were just an excuse to try and sell you a new type of cosmetic.
Yes, bro. This is my problem with the metaverse. The metaverse was not made. Well, the metaverse in Fortnite was not made out of passion or to give the players a different game mode like the LTMs, man. It was made just as a cash grab. So now they have the excuse to fill up the shop with garbage, bro. You will literally see a $20 Fortnite car. What is this? 500 V-Bucks for a song, bro. $5 if you want to play a song in Fortnite Festival mode. Wow, man. And now what else did they add? The shoes? I mean, that's not our cosmetic. That's not really metaverse related. Oh, the Lego. No, that's right, bro. I almost forgot about that. They have these Lego houses that cost like $40 and you can only use them in Lego Fortnite. Nah, dude. Yes, dude. It was only a cash grab, bro.
But honestly, I might have been able to push that aside as long as they fleshed out these new modes enough to actually be interesting.
They don't. Wow. Didn't they shelf Rocket Racing already? I wonder if they refunded it. Let me know, chat, bro. If you bought a Fortnite car for Rocket Racing, did you ever get a refund? A V-Buck refund? Because they should have given one. Because at this point, from what I understood, they're putting away Rocket Racing, and what's the other game out that they're putting away? Ballistic. I know they're getting rid of Ballistic, bro. Maybe they already got rid of Ballistic, man.
Yeah, no. Almost all of these modes have been abandoned by Epic Games, probably because
Yes,
Epic would have
dude.
had to try to make the modes interesting to play for longer than 10 minutes. They'd rather just get the people in creative to shit out low effort slop than lift a finger to do anything that doesn't involve a brand deal.
We've got to have money.
Let's just get this out of the way immediately. 20 whole real-world dollars for one singular skin in a video game is,
Wow.
and always has been, way too expensive. So, with that being said, holy shit, this has gone too far. First of all, just to kind of give you an idea of how off the rails this shit has gotten, just look at the difference in size from when the item shop...
Dude, the OG shop. Dude. I mean, I get it. It's all about money. I think the OG shop was super cool. Even they could have kept adding skins, man. Maybe adding another page to this. But I feel like the small shop is what made it so interesting. You know, to load up your game every day and see what was in the shop, bro. Did anyone else do this back then, bro? I remember I would go on YouTube and look up like anyone who uploaded the daily item shop when I was like not at home and couldn't see it, man. And like they would just like go through the updated item shop. And most of the times, like, I mean, I was a kid, bro. I wasn't gonna buy anything, but I just liked seeing what was on the shop, bro, because it was like a little like mystery box almost, you know? Wow, bro, dude, it had so much charm to it, man. Wow, the OG UI, bro. Is this in mobile? This might be in mobile. Wow, bro.
first released and how it looks now. It's just so large.
I think it's like I saw a page that uploads Fortnite item shops, man. I think it's like over 100 items per item shop per day, which is actually insane, dude. Like at that point, I don't know. Maybe they had to do it like to get rid of FOMO. I don't know.
Look, they even added a page slider because it's just so damn big.
Wow.
This is not an item shop anymore. This is a whole ass item supermarket. It's just too much. But that's not all. This game has gotten so much more greedy over the years, it's kinda crazy. There's so many examples I can pull from, but I only really want to talk about two. First up is skin styles. So back in the day, they would release a skin, and sometimes...
Yes, bro. Wow, I missed that. Now the new skins don't have any styles, or they'll have one style that like barely changes anything. Or no. That's what they'll do, bro. They will release a skin, like the Miku skin, right? And instead of doing a separate edit style that is Snow Miku, they make a whole nother skin in the item shop that costs another $20. And the fans will buy it, man. which is, I don't know, bro. I think it's a really shitty, slimy thing to do from Epic Games, bro.
Would come with selectable styles, and sometimes, very rarely,
Wow.
they would even add styles to a skin after it's released. They do not do this anymore. In fact, they do the exact opposite, and they'll release 2 different skins of the same
Yes.
person in a
This is exactly what I was saying. Wow, dude. Tyler, the creator, cartoon style, and then chromacopia, Tyler, I guess?
slightly different outfit. For example, this is Bruno Mars. As you can see, this is just one dude. So why in the
Okay.
world does he have 3 different
Wait. Bruno has 3 skins.
fully priced skins? I can maybe understand 2 because this one came out years before the others. But these 2, they came out at the exact same time.
Wow.
And it's kind of outrageous. But okay, you might be saying, well, these outfits are completely different. Okay, sure. But how do you excuse this shit?
Yes, man. Wow, bro. The Fortnite Festival. They will release one in the Fortnite Festival that you have to like pay and upgrade. Then they will release another one in the item shop. This does look exactly the same, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know. They should have made it an edit style, bro.
This is literally the same girl in the same outfit, sold
Pretty
full
much.
price 3 separate times. And this by itself is already bad, but it gets extra bad when you think about the fact that this game has a massive child audience. It's no secret. So when you take their favorite singer or their favorite YouTuber skins and scatter them like this, knowing that they're gonna want them all, and knowing that they don't have the sense to realize how scummy this is, it's just a really blatant and predatory attempt to bleed children for money, and it's just gross. Next up is shoes, because
Oh my god, bro. Yo, don't even get me started on shoes, man. Who's even using shoes in Fortnite, bro? I mean, let me be honest, bro. Like, if you like the shoes, bro, if you like the shoe accessory, if you if you have the money for it, and if you like it, all power to you. But I don't know, man. They had way too many. Who is looking at their Fortnite character's feet in Fortnite, bro? Yo, like, be honest, bro. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that, bro. Maybe very little peculiar people. But, bro, no hate. But, dude, like, $12 for these shoes, bro. $12 for these shoes, man. And also, if I'm not wrong, the shoes look like a little bit clunky on the skin. No, like, especially characters that have like boots, and then the boots go up to like the what is it, like almost to the knee. The shoe looks so out of place, bro. The shoe looks so out of place. I don't know. It's just like the worst cash grab, bro. I feel like they could have gone like so much better about making any other cosmetic. I don't know what shoes.
Jesus Christ, these are way too overpriced. They want over 10 real world dollars to buy virtual shoes. Are you kidding me? That is the price of some of the skins in this game. And they want that for something you can barely see 90% of the time. And I can't even be mad at the people buying these things because most of them are actual children. It's just sad
Yes.
watching Epic be this scummy when they used to be the example on how to do these things right. Breaking news. As I was making this video, they dropped an update to let you buy in-game items in creative games, enabling pay to win and
Oh, hell no, bro. Oh, hell no, dude. They're trying to be Roblox. Bro. 200 V-Bucks? This is worse than Roblox, no? This is way worse than Roblox. 4,900 V-Bucks for 2 times press and rod. Is that not $50? Is that not $50, bro? Correct me if I'm wrong, bro. Wow, bro. Dude, and then since you're converting real life US dollars or whatever currency you use into V-Bucks, and then you see those V-Bucks in your account, you kind of lose like the notion of the value that it has, right? That's why every game with microtransaction has like their own like little currency. Wow, dude. What's crazy? Someone actually probably bought this, man, who is not like a content creator and just like playing the game.
dummy microtransactions because this game wasn't predatory enough, right? I'm gonna be
Yo.
real with y'all, it's actually really hard to talk about the gameplay in this game, mostly because the second you start getting into specifics, it puts an expiration date on everything I'm saying. Because
True.
this game changes so often, if I talk about the game as it is right now, this video would be outdated before it even comes out. So I'm gonna try and talk more broadly about the issues that haunt this game, starting with melee items in this game have been a serious issue for as long as they've existed, and it's not hard to see why. Because when it comes to melee weapons in Fortnite, you basically get two options. You can A, have it be bad at doing damage and only be useful for mobility, like, dashing, running around, stuff like that. Or
Okay.
B, it can do damage. And either way kind of sucks. Option A sucks because what's the point of having a sword if you can only use it to get around? At that point, I would rather get a new mobility item with more creativity than the 50th melee item that lets you dash around. And the second option is just really frustrating to play against, because all you have to do to win is just run up to someone and give them the business. And yeah,
Dude, okay. Melee items. I think I saw recently they added like way more durability to the uses, which I think is a good way to go about it, right? It's definitely a step in the right direction, bro. Melee items. Yes, this guy says that it's a problem like if you have a sword and it's just for mobility and it sucks at dealing damage. I don't know, bro. I think it's good. I think it's good because then maybe if it sucks at dealing damage, it's just OP, but it can be replaced like as another sort of mobility item. You just need to make the durability less, because if it's too durable, then basically this is what used to happen before, right? With like the Typhoon Blade and I can't remember what other items, bro. Like in the Marvel season, there were some like mobility items that's were like 2 OP, and if you didn't have them, you just lost the whole match, right? Like you would have to like get lucky and kill someone that had him, but most of the times they would just run away from you because you would lack that mobility and they would last forever, right? Or like the Nitro gloves from Wrecked season. That's right. That's 2 OP, man. But when you tone down the durability, and if they're just good for mobility and they suck at dealing damage, I don't think that's too big of a deal. I think it's more of a problem when they're 2 OP close range. Even if the mobility sucks, if they're 2 OP close range, I don't know, man. I feel like that just like makes the game not fun, because you just get like wrecked, and I don't know, bro. I don't, call me crazy. Maybe that's a hot take.
it's fun for anyone who has it, but it is so infuriating to play against.
Yes.
Full stop. I'm sure that there's a way to do melee weapons right, but I also think if Epic wanted to, they would have done it years ago.
Wow.
Alright, now let's talk about progression. This game has some serious commitment issues. It's like every season that comes out does its absolute best to wipe away almost everything the previous season did. It doesn't matter if it was good or not, because there is a 90% chance that it's just going to be wiped off the face of the earth by next season. It creates a distinct lack of progression, and it makes switching chapters way less impactful than it should be. Back in my day, switching chapters used to be a big deal. It was like a soft reboot, and at the time, they definitely needed it, because in chapter 1, they did not operate like this. They still vaulted items, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, it felt like they were building on the game with every update, adding new guns, items, and locations that stayed in the game long enough to actually make an impact.
That's why. That's why the new locations and the new items are not memorable. This gets onto it. Yeah, because, well, not only chapters are not as long as like chapter 1 and chapter 2, I believe. I don't know how long chapter 2 was, but chapter 1 was like 10 seasons. Now chapters are like 4 seasons, 5 seasons. Yeah, like things just feel repetitive. Nothing is unique, bro. Nothing is unique in Fortnite anymore. Dude, it's rough. I don't even know how they could fix it. They would have to go back to basics, like just doing a whole like overhaul, maybe like of the art style. But dude, I don't know. I still feel like new chapters do feel pretty eventful because you get a new island, but I get the point that he's trying to say, that it doesn't like hit as hard because you don't have that connection to the previous chapter like you used to do previously.
but nowadays they'll actively go out of the way to dumpster things from previous seasons, and it stops almost any of these new additions from leaving an impression. Take impulse grenades, for example. I bet 90% of the players who were around when this came out remember it, because it was in the game long enough to make an impression on you. Now, how many of you remember this? This was in the game for like a month. Instead of tweaking it throughout the rest of the chapter to make it a good gun that might actually stick with you for longer than 10 seconds, they sent it straight to UEFN hell.
Did they actually?
Just to be another...
I don't know. Hot take, bro. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Because if you have like very specifically themed seasons, and if you have like an item that belongs to that theme, and it doesn't really have any other use outside of that season, I don't really think it's like too big of a deal if it gets vaulted right after. Maybe it should last for 2 seasons minimum. I get what he's trying to say, but like for example, I don't know, what do we have in the? I'm trying to think of something like actually memorable, bro. Maybe like in the Greek mythology season, right? You had those wings for mobility. Those got vaulted like the next season, which makes sense because I mean they're Greek mythology inspired, bro. You're not gonna be using them after, so I don't really have a problem with that.
Vending machine in like the 5 million red versus blue maps. Jesus, why are there so many? Building is the best part of this game. Fortnite would have never gotten anywhere near as big as it did without it, but the way Epic Games decided to handle the massive skill gap that this incredibly in-depth system created is the biggest problem with this whole game. But before I get started, I gotta lay out 3 definitions for the casual gamer grandmas and employed people in the audience. And you better pay attention, because I'm gonna be using these words a lot. So, the skill floor is basically the minimum skill required to engage with the game's systems. For example, Spider-Man 2's web swinging has an incredibly low skill floor. Anyone can pick that game up and feel like Spider-Man. Next up is the skill ceiling, which is basically the maximum skill you can have in a game. Going back to Spider-Man, the web swinging in this game has a very low skill ceiling because you can easily learn to master every part of it. And this causes the difference between the person at the bottom of the skill floor and the top of the skill ceiling to not be very large. And that difference is called the skill gap. Did you get all that? Good. So the reason I told you all of that is because I really want y'all to understand just how this game got to the state that it's in and how it all comes back around to the building. And with all that said, what about the building itself? Well, building in Fortnite is one of the most skillful mechanics in all of video games, period. On the surface, it seems simple, but the amount of depth and skill expression in this system is unparalleled. And I mean that with 100% sincerity. It's been nearly a decade since this game released, and I'm still not convinced we found the skill ceiling yet. And when you understand the system and can go toe to toe with someone at a high level, it's just magical. And back in Chapter 1, this system is what skyrocketed this game into the mainstream. But there were problems. One, this is a PvP game, which means the fun of the game entirely depends on fighting other people. And 2, because the building was so in-depth and the skill ceiling was so high, when people started learning the game and getting better and better, the skill floor of the game also started getting higher and higher.
Yes. Okay. For me, I stopped playing maybe the very first time I stopped playing, bro. I maybe was like 14 years old, I'm not gonna lie. And what was it? Chapter 1 season X maybe? Chapter 1 season 9? One of those two. People started getting really good at editing. And that was like, that just made the skill gap for me insanely high, bro. Skill issue? Maybe, bro. Maybe skill issue. But I don't know, bro. That's why I don't play build anymore, because I think it's really easy to pick up building. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you put in just a few hours in Fortnite, nothing crazy, you're gonna pick up building. You're gonna be able to, like box yourself in, whatever. But the people that edit and like do quick edits and like all this crazy pyramid stuff, all this crazy tech, that is such like a high skill ceiling. I agree with this guy. And that's why like people don't play builds anymore, except people who know how to do this. Because if you don't know how to do all of this stuff, and if you're playing, even if it's like casual mode, even if it's casual mode, build mode, you're at such a big disadvantage, bro. Like you're probably not gonna win. And unless you're playing with bots.
Started to become a huge problem because your average casual gamer grandma didn't stand a chance at winning near the end of Chapter 1. And they did do their best.
Wow. So it was near the end of Chapter 1. I thought it was just me. I
to
thought it was
squash
just
the
me.
skill gap and give the casual gamer grandmas a chance. And they tried everything over the years, from myth in a can to a literal mech suit, and nothing was working. So they decided to go nuclear. And with the release of Chapter 2, they added in bots and skill-based matchmaking. And they are the worst part about this game by
Yes.
far. In a perfect world, they would have used bots as a tool to onboard new players and teach them how to play the game before putting them into open matchmaking.
Yes, I agree with this. Bots are not bad. Are not bad if you have like a fresh account or if you haven't touched the game in a while and it's your like first like 1 or 2 games on and it's just like getting you back into the game, you know. Maybe you can get paired up with like similar people. The algorithm can pair you up with similar people after a few matches like with just bots, and then you know you get dropped into the matches with like every like real person. But you know you will have people like level 100 who play the game on the daily and they will still get bot lobbies, which is, I don't know, man, it doesn't make sense.
Or at the very least, have one game mode where you can play the game with classic matchmaking.
Wow.
They did not do that. Instead, they decided they would just apply it to everybody equally across the board. And this hinders the game so much more than most people realize. First off, before we continue, let me introduce you to my friend, the Bell Curve. Now this bad boy is really good at showing averages, and in this case, it's going to be representing the average skill of Fortnite players. It goes from left to right, left being the worst and right being the best, with the majority of people being in the middle. And the problem with bots and skill-based matchmaking is that it caters and pampers to these
This is, I'm right here, bro. I'm right here.
people while completely fucking over basically everyone else. There is a lot to talk about with how this affected the game overall, and I could rant about it for hours, but I'm just going to break it down into 2 sections. Let's start with killing bots in Fortnite isn't fun. It's just not. It sucks running around looking for people for like 5 minutes only to find a post-lobotomy bot that exists for the express purpose of making you feel good for doing absolutely nothing. But it gets so
I think it, maybe if you can't distinguish bots or if you're a new player, it's a good feeling. I'm not gonna lie. But if you know how to tell like who's bot, like look at this name, Aquatic Tifu, man. If you know how to distinguish bots apart, it has the opposite effect of being satisfying.
much worse when you add in skill-based matchmaking. Now I understand that some level of skill-based matchmaking needed to happen, because like I said, the skill ceiling in this game is so ludicrously high that the skill gap between a new player and an experienced player is wider than the goddamn Grand Canyon. But I think its implementation is genuinely awful. It just turns every game mode into competitive for everyone on this side of the curve. And with the combination of bots and skill-based matchmaking, Fortnite becomes one of the most boring and frustrating gameplay loops I've experienced in a video game, where you're either fighting a genuinely brainless robot that only exists to waste your time, or some guy that's genuinely acting like there's cash on the line.
Yes, bro, there is no in between. I feel like there is no in between as of late. You land in a crazy, like in a good POI, everyone is insane. Everyone is cracked out of their mind, bro. And then if you land like somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you'll see a couple bots here and there, whatever. Last 10 people come around, it'll be like the people that lived off the bat that are like actually insane at the game.
While this did solve the issue of the skill floor rising, it made the skill gap issue about 1,000,000 times worse, because while all the people here are getting pampered so much their V-Bucks should come with a box of diapers, all the people from here on are forced to try hard every single game if they even want a chance to win. And this causes the people at the bottom to improve very slowly, while the people at the top are forced to constantly improve just to be able.
What, see this? This is what I'm saying, man. I will see this type of like editing in if I load up regular build mode. I swear to you, there's one person that's playing that, or that's playing like that in regular build mode, not ranked, not tourneys. And it's like, bro, I don't want to deal with all that. Like, let me just play zero build. You know what I mean?
To keep up, and this causes the skill gap to widen so much faster than it would have naturally. But honestly, the worst part about these systems is that it just makes everything feel so artificial. Wins don't feel good at all. It just feels like the algorithm decided that it was my turn to win, and it just feels so empty. But there are people who actually like this. And with that said, let's get into how this affects the issue of bots and SBMM has slowly created a divide in the community between the casuals and the sweats. And this is because at the end of
the sweats, bro. Yo, any sweats in the chat, bro? Can you guys confirm this, bro? What did he depict you guys as this, bro?
And SBMM has slowly created a divide in the community between the casuals and the sweat.
Bro, yo, what is this, bro? Is this actually, are these the people that are sweating in Fortnite?
And this is because at the end of the day, these two groups of people are getting two very different experiences. Now, it's at this point in the video that I feel the need to clarify that I am not that good at this game, and I'm not someone who just wants to go stomp casual lobbies all day. But in my opinion, the second you add a skill-based matchmaking system into a casual game mode like this, you kill the casual experience. Because a system that ranks you by your skill level so that you can only get into lobbies with people of your skill level completely sterilizes the PvP gaming experience as a whole. To get my point across, let me talk about my experience with the game For Honor. Stay with me. I promise this is going somewhere. So I've been playing For Honor off and on for a really long time, almost as long as I've been playing Fortnite. And throughout my whole time playing that game, I have never felt like I've improved. I was consistently bottom 2 of the leaderboard for years, and I thought I was
Me and Valorant, bro. I'm not gonna
was
lie.
just bad because I was constantly getting worked. But recently I got a computer, and with that I had to start a brand new Ubisoft account. And when I downloaded For Honor and got on for the first time, I realized, holy shit, I'm actually good. The game has such stringent matchmaking that for literal years I have never realized at any point that I had gotten any better. That's what it's like playing every single game that has skill-based matchmaking, because it makes it to where no matter what skill level you are, your games will almost always feel the same. And because the game always keeps you in such a strict bubble of people who are the exact same as you, it removes the important question mark of, is this guy good? And this loss is especially hurtful in a game like Fortnite, because if everyone you fight in a PvP game plays the same, dresses the same, and has the same...
No, dude, don't even get me started on superhero skins, bro.
Because if everyone you fight in a PvP game plays the same, dresses...
Yo, the superhero skins, bro, they had to be the worst. I'm almost dying, bro. They had to be the worst thing that happened to Fortnite, bro. No joke. There are worse things. I'm not gonna lie, but one of the worst things, bro. It's up there. It's up there. It's up there. I don't know why, bro. Like, they're still so popular, and I remember even Epic Games, bro, try to nerf them. I'm pretty sure by making it so you can like select the same colorway for all the details, but people still use them, bro. It is like, it'll be 2026, bro, and I still see people rocking out these superhero skins, bro. And I guess it's I don't know, bro. I can't fully hate because if you like the superhero skin for what it is, there's no problem with that. You know what I mean? It's just the issue that I have, bro, is that people will be using the superhero skin just because like they think it's like aura and tryhard, man. I don't know, bro. I don't even think it's like that big of an advantage anymore, like competitively. Maybe I'm just a noob, bro. Let me know.
Is the same and has the same skill level, then what's even the point of playing an online PvP game like this in the first place? What's most frustrating to me though is that most people who like skill-based matchmaking and bots in Fortnite are so used to this game catering to them that when a mode comes out that doesn't have bots or SBMM, it's really hard for them. So they immediately start complaining on Twitter to Epic Games, and bots get added in almost instantly. And it's so frustrating as a player who doesn't like bots or skill-based matchmaking, because the people who do love saying, if you don't like it, go play ranked. Which, first of all, go f yourself. We were here first. You're the ones that want the modified experience with the brain dead robots and the stringent matchmaking. You straight up colonize my game. You leave.
That is true.
Second of all, that doesn't solve...
That is true. That is true. Ranked was afterward to try to fix the problem and to get the sweats to go to ranked. But the sweats don't go to ranked.
The problem, because even if bots are gone, you're still ranked, aka skill-based matchmaking, aka the other half of the problem. And this is a good time to mention that 90% of the time, there is no difference between ranked and unranked Fortnite. You'd expect that they'd at least keep the broken items out of the ranked game mode.
There is bots in ranked? I never knew this. There is bots in ranked, bro. Why would they do that? Why would they put bots in a mode that's like fully about, you know, like testing your competitive abilities against other people in the same game? Bro, what are they doing with this game? I have not been tapped in for a while, bro. What?
So people like me who enjoy the chaos that broken items bring can have our fun, and people who want a fun competitive game can play ranked, right? Well, apparently Epic Games disagree, because they actively do everything they can to not do that. In fact, they'll go out of their way to make ranked and battle royale as similar to each other as possible for no reason, and all it does is turn casuals and sweats against each other. For example, let's talk about split loot pools. Everybody wants them, but for some reason Epic Games refuses the idea completely.
Why? I feel like that's a no-brainer, bro. Especially when you have crazy items that are supposed to be fun casually, but that might break like the competitive tournament scene. It makes no sense to have like a what? Once again, bro, it all comes back to the cars, bro. It makes no sense to have like the cars from Wrecked season, for example, in competitive. Like they should just make a different loophole.
The story goes like this. They'll add a broken item to the game.
Whoa, wait,
People
but he literally showed it.
playing
Yes.
ranked will complain about it being broken because dying to bullshit in a competitive game feels really bad, while casuals will love it
Exactly.
because it's a fun, chaotic addition to the game.
Exactly.
And personally, I've been on both sides, and they're both valid takes. So what?
I'm not mad about cars, bro. Personally, I really liked the Wrecked season. I didn't really use the cars, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think they were that hard to combat. Like if you did the right playstyle and got like the EMPs. But then you kind of locked yourself into a playstyle. So I get the complaint. But I think it was kind of fun. It definitely changed up the game. I do feel the competitive players that were being sad about it because it is unfair to have that big of a change in the competitive scene.
Does Epic Games do? Well, they'll nerf it just enough for casuals to be mad about the nerf, but not enough for it to not break high skill lobbies. So instead of just splitting the loot pool so everyone's happy, they'd rather just piss everybody off instead of doing this one simple thing. And as a result, casuals are mad at the sweats and sweats are mad at the casuals because both their experiences are being hindered by each other. The only time I can remember them actually listening was during Wrecked, and the only reason they did
Did they actually remove the cars?
anything was because the game was bleeding players and they were desperate. And right after this season, they went right back to how they were operating before, like nothing happened. It's so frustrating watching them do the same shit over
No
and
way.
over and over because they just can't be bothered. Or can they? And this is where I go off the deep end. I used to love Fortnite. I started playing this game all the way back in Season 8. Back then, there was no skill-based matchmaking, there was no bots, there wasn't even any in-game tutorials. Yet I still fell in love with this game. And it was for the simple reason that I knew it was fair. Kind of like a fighting game. If you lose in a fighting game, it's not the game's fault, it's on
It's
you.
your fault,
And
yeah.
I knew that. So I kept playing. I would always land at the edge of the map and use every tool I had. And every single kill felt like I was on top of the world. And then they added skill-based matchmaking and bots into the game. By all accounts, I was the person that they were designed to help, but I hated them because it felt like the game was babying me. But I had hope that eventually they would take them out. So I kept playing every single day, and I slowly got better. And as I was slowly getting better, I saw firsthand how the game punishes you for improving. But I still loved this game. I would spend hours playing creative 1v1 maps, which were never an actual 1v1 by the way. It was always just like a claustrophobic free-for-all.
Dude, I don't really remember playing these maps, bro, but I just remember you would always get third party, man. You would always get third party. I would get so frustrated. Like in these box PvP things, man.
But it had one thing that kept me coming back. No skill-based matchmaking.
That is
so I
true.
kept
Oh,
playing, and I
that's
got better.
true.
I went from being constantly dumpstered to being the top 2 in the lobby pretty consistently. I would get so into this game that when I would get up, my shirt would be literally soaked with sweat. I was dedicated to this game, and I kept playing, and I kept hoping that they would remove bots and SBMM. But after 2 very bad seasons, yes, Season 5 was bad, I realized that bots were here to stay. So I quit, and for years, I barely touched the game, until the Fortnite OG mini season.
Bro, is that true, bro? Can you guys confirm? Did you guys also quit and only come back for OG season, man? That's not a bad take, man. I remember, I think the OG season, correct me if I'm wrong, had like the largest spike of concurrent players in Fortnite like ever. Like even before like 2020, 2018.
And even though it wasn't quite the game I remembered, I still had a great time playing. And for a while, I forgot why I even quit in the first place. Then, a year later, they came out with the OG Fortnite game mode. And it was everything I loved about the game back in full force. And it wasn't just nostalgia. My nostalgia for this game was already sucked dry from that mini season. It was more than that. The game felt alive again. Every game was different. Every player you'd fight was on a different skill level. And every single kill felt like a win. And if you got a win, it felt so much better than it had in years because you actually did it. Out of 100 random people, your team was the one to come out on top. And it reminded me exactly why I loved this game so much in the first place. With all that said, imagine my absolute despair when I checked my phone and saw this shit.
But wow. Dude, yes, man. I feel like the last time that I played Fortnite probably a lot was Chapter 5. Chapter 5. And one of the seasons that I played a lot on, I think I got like maybe like 80 wins. I think it's the most wins that I've ever had in one season. And it didn't feel like satisfying, bro. Like the wins did not feel satisfying. I remember I would always used to be hype, bro, back then whenever I got like a single win. But with 80 wins, bro, it just felt like nothing, man, because it was all against like bots, man. It just takes the satisfaction out of the game, bro. There's no dopamine, man. There's no dopamine. They killed their own game, man.
It broke me. And yeah, I could talk about how Epic Games tried to sabotage this mode as much as possible, but honestly, I couldn't care less at this point. The people who were whining on Twitter that it was too hard don't even touch the game anymore, and the people like me are just left with a mode that tries to imitate old Fortnite, but doesn't realize what made it fun in the first place. It just feels so soulless.
Yes.
The Simpsons collab mini-season was such a surreal thing to experience. Not because, oh my god, it's The Simpsons and Fortnite, but because it was watching two IPs that had all the life and soul drained out of them, being puppeted around by a bunch of corporate shareholders, and the whole thing just felt so empty. Soul is an impossible thing to nail down a definition for, so I'm not even going to try. But it's also something that if a game, a movie, or even a picture was made with it, you can feel it. And there was a time where Fortnite had it, but I think that time has passed. This game will always...
I think, let me try to fill in for him. That what he's referring to, he's not giving a definition because I get it's too broad, but it is, when you say that something has soul, especially like a game or like a piece of art, or any piece of media, right? Any piece of media, you're saying that it's something that is like made with passion. First of all, it is made with passion from the creators. Second of all, it is made like with the, maybe with the people that are gonna enjoy that product or that media in mind. They're keeping their interest or their reaction in mind. And also, you know, like the whole process of making it, right? So when something becomes devoid of that, devoid of soul, it's because you're taking away like the passion and replacing it with a different drive that is not like artistic, that is not you know, for the love of the game, that is not for you know, actually liking to do what you do. It's for the money. It's for the money, and then it becomes soulless. You can also become soulless for like another thing. Maybe you have like conflicting interests. Maybe there are other interests that replace money, but in this case, definitely you know, the whole like corporate money, you know, just bringing down Fortnite. Like he was mentioning earlier, the changing of the art style for the interest of making more collabs with real people ultimately comes down to getting and wanting more money, which made the game devoid of soul in that art style aspect of it.
Hold a special place in my heart. The memories of seeing a sniper peeking out from behind a rock a mile away right before getting your shit rocked, or trying to get a team to build fight me to the sky limit so my friends can knock us down to win the fight, will always be some of my most cherished gaming memories of all time. It's a hard thing to acknowledge, but Fortnite isn't the game that I loved anymore, and it hasn't been for a long time. Thank you all for watching. The Spider-Man video blew up.
Yo, W video, man. W video by Zone 3D, man. Why hate Fortnite, bro? Shout out to him, bro. Hey, let me know, you guys, bro. Like, what can even be done at this point to like fix Fortnite, bro? Or like, how can it be brought back? I think that if nothing changes, bro, like the game is just slowly like gonna die out, right? Because it's just like they're making so many wrong decisions, and I believe this was made before, yes, February 1st. This was made before the whole thing happened when they fired and they let go like 1,000 employees, something like that. Yeah, man, it's just, I don't know what they could do differently, man. But yeah, bro, W video, bro. Hey, let's move on to the next section, bro. I only had this game planned out, bro. I knew the new act of Valorant came out. I want to check that out.